Okay, so what I want to do today then is I want to show you how to create your hexagon tile template that we are going to use to laser cut out. So you should have already done a design page where you've looked at something from nature and chosen some of your shapes that you've picked out from your natural object. Here's an example of one that I've created here. Starting off with a hexagon on the outside and then 3 different shapes that are getting smaller and smaller inside this. So this is what you're going to try and create today. So last lesson, or maybe today, you should have created yourself an account on Fusion 360. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to open up the template, so the hexagon template, which is that your teacher should have given you. So your hexagon template will just have a hexagon on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is delete this one here. So there you go. So this is what you should be starting point. It's called the hex template, and this just has your shape here that is acting as a guideline. So whatever you draw, you need to make sure that it doesn't go outside of this hexagon. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on surface at the top here, and that will allow us to start doing some sketching. We're going to create a sketch, so you're going to click here on create sketch, and then what it wants to know is it wants to know where you want your sketch to be. So I want to sketch actually on top of my hexagon, and then you should see that it creates a new sketch here. This one's actually called sketch 3, yours will probably be called sketch 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to then start to draw the shapes from our design. Now start off with your biggest shape and then work out. And as I said to you before, you need to make sure that your sketch doesn't go outside this hexagon. So I'm going to click on the spline tool. We've got lots of choices here about things you can use to draw: lines, rectangles, circles. And if you click on create, it gives you even more choices of polygons, arcs, all sorts of different slots, all sorts of different things. So I'm going to start off just with a fixed point spline. And then I'm going to start drawing my shape. Now I'm just going to draw a random shape. Obviously what I'd like you to do is use the shape that you've created on your design sheet. So random shape here, just going around and then making sure I start exactly where I finished, and there is the random shape. Okay, then I'm going to create another shape for my second. I'm going to use a line tool for this one just to give it a bit of difference, but again you need to use whatever tool you need to create your random shapes. So there we go, a line tool on the inside, and there's my second shape inside that one. And then you should be able to see that all of my shapes from the third one to the second one to the first one are getting smaller as they get inside, and then I create 3 different shapes. So I've got my hexagon, and then I've got my 3 shapes that I've created on here. Now what we need to do to finish this off, we're going to laser cut out this shape, or these 3 shapes I should say. So we need to separate them, we need to move them apart so they are no longer one inside the other. So what I want you to do is I want you to click escape on your keyboard, and then I want you to select your shapes. So you should be able to select them by left clicking on the shape, and you can see it's going dark blue there. So let me try and get hold of this one here. So left click on the shape that we want to select. There we go. And then if I right click, I get the opportunity to move it. Okay, so move and copy, and I should be able to move it just to the side, just away from the other shapes, so that can be then laser cut out on its own. And then I click OK. And then I need to select this second one, so I move this away. The third one could probably stay in position, but we need to move this second one so it's away from the third one. So let's select it. So I need to select this shape. Okay, so I'm going to click, it's making me select individual lines. So I'm going to hold shift down, and then I'm going to select the individual lines by left clicking and just going around. You can see they've been selected because they've gone dark blue. Oh, that's being a little bit temperamental. So I'm just selecting these lines, and then it will allow me then, once I've selected them, to move them to one side. So there we go, move that to the top and move that to the side over here. Okay, so now we've got our 3 shapes that are moved apart. What we can then do is we need to save it so it can be laser cut, and this is relatively straightforward. We just need to save the sketch. So I'm going to finish that sketch by clicking on here, and then I've got my 2 sketches, sketch 1 here, which I can make invisible, and then I've got the second sketch here, or as mine's called sketch 3, that I need to save. So I want to right click on that sketch, and I need to save this as a DXF. And then what we can do is I will call this Mr. Gilbert, Biomimicry tile, and then I will save that as a DXF. I'm going to save it into my downloads, but if you want to change that, you can click on these three dots and save it wherever onto the particular device. You need to make sure that the file type is saved as a DXF. That's very important, as a DXF will be what the computer recognizes to be able to laser cut them out. Okay, so we're going to click save here, and then it simply saves the DXF. What that will then allow us to do is to print that out on the laser cutter. So I will give you somewhere where you can save these DXFs. I'd like you to upload them onto the Teams where I can save the DXFs, or print off your DXFs. I hope this video was useful, and if you've got any questions about what I've just shown you, please ask your design technology teacher.